So you have a Canon M50 and now you're probably thinking about upgrading your lens to a Sigma 18 to 35. I'm here to give you 5 reasons why you absolutely positively should get this lens. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Roll the intro. What's good, YouTube? It is your boy High Def Step checking in once again. For those of you who left a like or a comment or hit the subscribe button off of my last video, thank you and welcome back. If you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like and all of that good stuff. If you find this helpful or useful for you, I will be doing more tech reviews and tutorials and stuff similar to this one, so you don't want to miss out. Today we're talking about a very, very important piece of your kit for Canon M50 users like myself, and pretty much for any APS-C or crop sensor camera users, is the Sigma 18 to 35 Art f1.8. It is a zoom lens. It is an incredible lens, and I'm going to give you 5 reasons why you absolutely have to have this lens as a part of your setup. Let's just go ahead and get into it. All right, reason number 1 is focal length. The focal length, 18 to 35, especially on a crop sensor camera or APS-C sensor camera. It's just a versatile focal range, man. I feel like, this lens is pretty much an all-purpose lens. It's good for doing real estate shots when you shoot wide open at 18 millimeters, and it's really good for doing portraits at 35 millimeters. Now, as a side note, some people don't like shooting portraits at 35 millimeters. I do. So let me know in the comments what you guys like to shoot your portraits at. I'm a 35 millimeter guy. I know a lot of people don't like it just because of the level of distortion that you get around the edges, but I've noticed, for me, if I keep my subject in the middle of the frame, I really don't experience too much lens distortion. So keep that in mind if you like to shoot your portraits on 35 millimeters. Now, back to what I was saying. It's really good for doing real estate, wide angle shots, also really good for portraits if that's your kind of thing. But it's also really good for filming yourself. Filming yourself sometimes I feel like can be really difficult, right? And with the Canon M50 and it already being a crop sensor camera, you need really a wide angle lens in order to feel comfortable vlogging and have the camera close enough to you to where you don't have your arms all the way stretched out. Being able to have the camera and the lens in close proximity to you while you're vlogging is very important for people that are starting to do YouTube. Now, another plus is to pick up audio. Like, just imagine if you were using like a really telephoto type lens like a 50 millimeter, you wouldn't be able to get as close to the microphone, and it would be a lot difficult to capture audio. So I really feel like the focal range is a very valuable piece to why this lens is so great, especially if you pair it with the Viltrox Speedbooster. But if you want to see the Viltrox Speedbooster review, like I said, just drop it in the comments because I would really like to do that. So focal length, number 1 reason, yes, all good. Moving on to the next one. All right, so reason number 2 is image quality and sharpness. This lens is easily the sharpest lens that I've ever owned. I've tested out several of the Canon L series lenses, the 24 to 70, the 24 to 105, the 70 to 200, and this lens, in my opinion, just blows them out of the water when it comes to sharpness. And you have the added benefit of it being a faster lens than most of the faster L series lenses. The 24 to 70 at 2.8, the 24 to 105 at f4 respectively. Like, this lens is faster than most of those L series lenses, the zoom ones anyway, and it's sharper. I was gonna say just as sharp or sharper, but these lenses are a lot sharper. Usually when you say, okay, I'm gonna put my prime lenses aside and roll with the zoom lens, usually you sacrifice some sharpness. But with the Sigma 18 to 35, I haven't seen any reduction in quality, image quality, sharpness, any of that. This lens is tack sharp all the way from 18 millimeters through 35 millimeters, all the way from 1.8 aperture to stopping it all the way down. I'm just gonna be honest, I've never stopped this lens all the way down really past f4.5 or something like that. Like, I usually try to shoot this lens wide open, and like I said, when I pair it with the speed booster, it goes as fast as 1.2. Let's move on to reason number 3. Oh, before I get to reason number 3, I almost want to say that sometimes this lens can be a bit too sharp, so I recommend looking into maybe purchasing a Tiffin Pro Mist filter, which I'm using right now, and maybe you can kind of see how my skin tone and just the overall texture of my skin is smoothed out, and maybe some of the light behind me is bloomed. Moving on to reason number 3. Reason number 3 is this lens serves as mini prime lenses. Given that the Sigma to 18 to 35 doesn't sacrifice in image quality or sharpness, you pretty much got 5 prime lenses all in one. If you were to buy 5 of these prime lenses, 18, 24, 28, 30 and 35, I mean, we're talking about thousands of dollars. This lens has improved my workflow. Like, that's really how I have to just be real with y'all about how good this lens is, and I feel like it would be good for you or for anybody. I really need to have a workflow that is conducive to me being a lot faster and more efficient. So this lens has allowed me to do that. Before, when I was doing shoots or shooting videos, I'm switching my lenses out every couple of minutes to get different focal lengths. I'm really moving my feet around. It's shielding my sensor from the elements. I'm not exposing my sensor every couple of minutes trying to swap lenses out, because on the Canon M50, which is one of my gripes with the Canon M50, we can totally talk about that in another video. It doesn't protect the sensor when you swap lenses. It just kind of open to the elements. And when you're out shooting in God knows what type of weather, exposing it to the sun, or exposing it to dust, or exposing it to water, it can destroy the camera that you invested so much money in. So having this lens definitely is protecting my camera from the elements. It's also improving my workflow and allowing me to really work a lot faster and get stuff done. Anyway, that's reason number 3 is it's like having mini prime lenses. You're not losing any quality due to lack of sharpness or anything like that. So that's reason number 3. Moving on to reason number 4. Reason number 4 is autofocus. This lens has the absolute fastest and snappiest autofocus that I've ever experienced with any of the lenses that I've ever used. It's so fast that sometimes you don't even see it swap. Like, it's crazy. When you pair the technology in the lens, making the autofocus really snappy and very quick, along with Canon M50's Digic 8 processor and the dual pixel autofocus, it's really a good marriage. Somebody please show me who has a better autofocus system than Canon right now. Any of their new cameras, the Canon M50, and then you pair it with like a luxury style lens. This is, I mean, like, come on, man, come on. This is the best autofocus thing on the market. Let me know in the comment section. What other camera has a better autofocusing system than Canon? I mean, the dual pixel autofocus is, I don't even have to worry about it. I just set it and forget it, hit the record button, and I can move everywhere. Like, hold on, let's test that out. Hold on, whoa, I'm all the way back here. I'm gonna focus, and I come up. See, like, that's crazy. Like, that's lightning fast. So, yeah, the autofocus, A1 with the lens paired with the Canon M50. That's reason number 4. Reason number 5, let's get to that. And reason number 5 is cost. I also referenced earlier that this lens is coming in at half the price versus other lenses in its class, like the Canon L series lenses. I mean, on Amazon right now, I'll link it below. I've seen this lens brand new for 640 bucks, okay? I literally just went to a camera event today in Pasadena. A guy was selling this lens for $550 used, and it was in great shape. You could definitely find this lens for $500 or less, and most oftentimes in pristine condition. But yeah, the cost totally a benefit versus other lenses in its class. I mean, you don't get the red ring though, like the L series lenses, but that red ring is just a flex most of the time. I don't know, y'all let me know, man. As far as I'm concerned, the Sigma Art series lenses that I've used, they're giving Canon a run for their money, man. But the cost, yeah, that's it. Okay, so I cheated. I've got a 6th reason. I had to. We can kind of call it like an honorable mention or something. So the 6th reason, value and build quality, or just build quality in general. The Sigma 18 to 35 is built probably a lot better than most modern lenses. I mean, you really have to go back to like vintage style lenses or vintage lenses in general to get a lens that is built like this. I mean, this thing is built like a tank. Hold on, let me grab one of my vintage lenses. All right, so we got it. So like this thing here, this is my Nikkor H 85mm. Can we get that in focus? Is it gonna focus? Yeah. So this is my Nikkor H85mm 1.8, and this lens weighs just as much as the Sigma 18 to 35. Look at that. Isn't that a nice piece of glass? That's beautiful. It's amazing. You know, vintage lenses in general are just built to last. A lot of times the optics that they used back in the day are comparable to some of the modern style lenses, and I feel like the Sigma to 18 to 35 is on par, you know, with this old 85mm lens right here from the 1970s. I mean, I could probably still get a few hundred for this lens right now. So totally built well, you know, from the rubberized focus rings. Yeah, man, the lens, it's built to last. What more can I say, man? And the best thing about, you know, investing, because that's what this is, you're investing in lenses. Lenses hardly ever lose their value. I'm telling you, like, man, it's not 2019, all 2020, shit, the rest of my life, I'm only spending money on things that appreciate in value or don't depreciate in value. And lenses certainly fit that bill. You know, a lot of times you'll be able to get exactly what you paid for. I totally recommend that you invest in decent glass, especially if you're a Canon M50 user. You really don't maximize the potential of the Canon M50 until you put some decent glass on there. Like, I noticed that right out of the box. You need to put better glass on this camera sensor, and I'm telling you, it's all about the glass. So the cost, the build quality, the value you get, the fact that you can sell the lens just about for what you pay for it, if not more or a little bit less, is totally worth the money that you pay for it. So yeah, that's reason number 6. Once you start digging into this camera thing, you start to realize that no one lens is perfect. Like, no one lens does everything. This one comes pretty close. I would argue that this is probably one of the best lenses, or could be the best lens of all time, if it didn't have some of the issues that it has, and we're gonna talk about that right now too. So one of the issues that I have with the lens is the lack of image stabilization. Now, I'm a Canon M50 user, and the Canon M50 does not have in-body image stabilization. Other cameras do. So when you're filming with this lens, it's incredibly important that you have some sort of stabilizer if you're trying to get more cinematic shots, or that you're very, very steady-handed. But not having image stabilization is not the biggest of deals, just because the fact that it's a zoom lens and it zooms internally really makes it easier to kind of adapt this lens to gimbals and other stabilizers and stuff like that without having to rebalance them. So not the biggest of deals, but it doesn't bother me that much. Okay, so last but not least, the biggest one of them all, like the biggest gripe that I have with using this lens, is the lack of a tripod collar. I wish this is something that Sigma would probably do, like for the Mark II version, because a lot of times I worry about the weight of the lens putting too much stress on the mount of my camera. Being a Canon M50 user, I just worry about it putting too much stress on the mount of my camera. I don't want the camera to break, and I feel like a tripod collar would do a very good job at distributing a lot of the weight more evenly, so that that's not something that would be on the minds of people using this camera. Let me know if you worry about some of the same things, if you have some of the same gripes with this lens. Just, you know, drop it in the comment section, shoot me a DM on Instagram, and let me know. I'm interested to, you know, see, you know, things maybe I've missed with using this lens, and, you know, other things that might be more important to you as far as what makes this lens so great. So thank you for tuning in. These are just my thoughts from, you know, a brand new YouTuber, and, you know, new to like photography and cinematography and content creating and stuff like that. This is just what I've noticed from this lens, from using it after having it a couple of weeks. But I think it's a really awesome lens. I definitely recommend, you know, amateur or pro, this lens is for you. It's definitely worth it. See y'all in the next one. Peace. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I forgot to add that in there. That's important. Subscribe.
always wanted to say this.
I'm gonna be honest, when you go to these camera events, motherfuckers be taxed. Like, I'ma just keep it real. Like, you know, it's the sneaker kind of camera gear.
I lost it all, I'm working on getting back. It's a beautiful view and